Hello there, I'm Dawn Priolat of dawnpriolat.com, and today is the day after Mother's Day, and I hope that you had a wonderful day with your mother. But I want to say, for some of us, Mother's Day can bring up a lot of mixed feelings. So I want to talk about that in this video. I work with a lot of clients who are looking to find a soulmate relationship, who are looking for also to do better in their careers, to do better as a coach, as a healer, in terms of earning more money and not having to live hand to mouth anymore like their parents did. And what I keep seeing continually is this tendency to overgive, to overdo, to overdeliver, always doing, always giving. And I even have women who really the most common complaint that I hear from women who are looking for a relationship, when we really get down to what's been going on, oftentimes, especially for the ones who like haven't dated for 7 or 8 years even, yeah, is what I come to find out is that their habit in the relationship, their pattern is they're always giving in the relationship. They feel like they always have to be the one who takes the lead, who's doing and doing and doing. And it's quite exhausting. And it leads to a lot of resentment and anger. And eventually, we do have the instinct to protect ourselves. And we know on an instinctual level that if we're not getting enough back for all the giving that we're doing, for all the effort that we're putting in, we will die because you can't sustain that, okay? And when we're doing all of that giving, that's actually coming from masculine energy. Now, when a woman is in her masculine energy, if you are wanting to attract a masculine man who is in his masculine energy, can you see where that just isn't going to work? You're going to come head to head in that situation. You're going to find you are competing against each other. There's a lot of defensiveness. And if a man is very masculine and he wants to stay masculine, he only has one choice, and that is he has to leave. He has to exit stage left when you're in your masculine energy. Because over the long term, that isn't going to work. Because you, by your very behavior, end up emasculating him on a daily basis. And so actually, the best thing he could do actually is leave. Because if this goes on over many months and many years, he may become so resentful and so angry about being emasculated like this that he may actually become violent. I have actually known women who, they say to me, everything was so wonderful in the beginning. He was the perfect man in the beginning. And we were together for like 10 years. And we had such a great relationship, but I don't know what happened. And then all of a sudden, like in the last year or two of our relationship, he started becoming very kind of aggressive and literally ended up becoming physically aggressive at the very end. In fact, that's what ended the relationship. And in finding out more about what was going on in the relationship, what I came to realize is that she was coming at him with this very masculine behavior. And it comes from a sense of a feeling of unsafety a lot of times with us as women. And oftentimes quite frankly, we were raised by very well-meaning parents, our mom and dad both. They were very well-meaning, but they raised us to believe that our value and our worth all has to do with making the good grade, with what we do in some way, shape, or form. It's what we do that earns us love, that makes us lovable. And instead of simply cherishing us for our feminine attributes, cherishing us for our feelings, and for just simply being who we are. Most of us as women have never experienced just being loved and cherished, for just being who we are. And so it's no wonder that we go out on dates and we show up and we're talking about how successful we are, and basically giving him our resume, because we think that that's what the man wants to hear, because we have been raised to believe that our worth, our lovableness, if you will, is based on what we can achieve in the world, how much money we make. And this is even complicated even further, and the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place is that so many of us, especially those of us who are in my age group, 40s, 50s, and beyond, who were conceived by mothers who really did not want a child, or didn't want yet another child, another mouth to feed. And so your very conception was unwanted, was unwelcome. And of course, you know, at that time, in that time in history, if a woman got pregnant, there was nothing she could do. I mean, that's, you just had to accept it. And I'm not here to blame anyone or make anyone wrong. This is not about that. Nor am I here to debate, you know, abortion laws. I'm not here to do that. I'm a healer, okay? That's the work that I do. So what I am here to do is I wanted to talk about those of you who actually were unwanted, and you kind of always felt that. You felt that you were unwanted from the very beginning. Why? Because scientists now know that even when you are a fetus, when you are actually in your mother's womb, that little fetus can feel what the mother is feeling. Now, we don't know exactly scientifically how that all plays out and why it all plays out, but we do know there is a definite connection there. And so I want to do some tapping with you here, because the connection is that when you are conceived and come from a place of not feeling wanted, not feeling deserving, and maybe, quite frankly, feeling like a burden to your mother, a burden to your parents, burden to the world, what ends up happening is we do take on this very masculine kind of behavior of always feeling like we have to prove our worth. We have to, so we end up overgiving, overdoing all of these very masculine kinds of behavior in order to prove that we should be here, that we have a right to be here, instead of just knowing that our very existence is a gift, is a blessing. And unfortunately, Your mother may not have been able to see you as the gift and the blessing that you truly, truly were. And so I want to do some tapping with you today, if this is resonating at all with you. And I want to do some tapping on some very specific things. And I want you to see what applies to you. I'm going to try a few phrases and I want you to see if it resonates. So the first one, I ruined my mother's life. Does that resonate with you at all? And I want you to, from 0 to 10, how true does it feel? Now, I don't want to hear from your intellectual mind. I want to hear from your heart. When I say those words, how true does that feel? So 10 would be like, yep, that's totally true. And then I want you to test. I was a burden to my mother. And how true does that feel from 0 to 10? I was unwanted. How true does that phrase feel? And the next phrase I want you to test. I have to prove my value. Just test it, 0 to 10. How true does that feel? And then I'm just going to, we're already tuned into those feelings. So I want you to just imagine, there you are in your mother's womb, this little tiny fetus. Your little first chakra, your body, is just beginning to form. And your little nervous system is just beginning to take form, because you're just this little embryo. And you can start tapping with me. And I want you to just tune into, what's the feeling as you are there in the womb? Do you feel welcome there? Do you feel a sort of contractive, repelling energy there in that place? Do you feel, as you feel into your mother's emotions,
Don, I'm leaving.
what do you feel? Is she happy about your presence there? Is she full of anxiety about your presence there? Do you feel this contractive energy, this unwelcome energy? Does it feel safe being in the womb? Or do you feel unwelcome there? Just tune into that feeling. And now I'm getting a feeling to start at the karate chop point. So you can start at the karate chop point with me and just repeat after me. Even though I feel like I ruined my mother's life. Maybe she said it, maybe she didn't. Maybe it was just in the way that she treated me, in her attitude. But I feel like I ruined her life. And I have carried this guilt and this shame in my little nervous system ever since I was conceived. Ever since my little nervous system was being formed, I have carried this feeling of guilt because I caused my mother's life to be completely ruined. I took away her freedom. I caused her worry and anxiety. I was another mouth to feed, and she couldn't afford it. Even though I feel so much guilt, so much shame, because I ruined my mother's life. And maybe ever since I have been overcompensating for that. Maybe I've been trying so hard ever since to prove that I actually have a right to be here. I love and accept myself anyway, and I am so willing to heal this today. Even though I feel like a burden, I feel like I caused so much stress, so much anxiety for my mother. And maybe because of this guilty feeling, I feel like I don't deserve. I don't deserve to have good things in life. I don't deserve to have success. And instead, I can't allow myself to really receive success, money, appreciation. Instead, I overcompensate by giving more, receiving less, not asking for what I want or need, because I feel like I'm just asking for too much, which just means I'm going to be even more of a burden, just like I was to my mother. Even though I feel like I am a burden, I was a burden. I still feel like I am a burden. I love and accept myself anyway, and I am so willing and open to healing this. Even though I feel like I don't have a right to even be here. If my mother had had her way about it, I wouldn't be here. And maybe that is causing me to overcompensate in relationships with people. I feel like I have to make myself valuable in some way by always being there to give to other people, always serving them, always trying my best to fulfill their every need in order to prove that I do have a right to be here. Always, always wanting to get validated from the people around me that I am worthy of being here, that I do have value. But the thing is, because I'm not valuing myself, through the law of attraction, I keep manifesting over and over and over again situations and opportunities and experiences that prove to me once again that I'm not valuable, that I'm not worthy and deserving, and that I am a burden. I just keep proving it over and over and over again. But the thing that I am realizing today is that those feelings were already there from the time of my conception. Those feelings were already running through my little nervous system. And ever since then, I have just been creating over and over again the evidence of what I already came into the world believing about myself. Wow. I'm just going to take a moment to grasp this moment because this is huge. This is huge. This is the thing that's been holding me back my whole life, and it started at my conception. Before I was even born, all these feelings were already there. I just kept manifesting from those feelings, from those beliefs, from those perceptions of the world. This is what I have been creating from. I am so, so willing to let go of all of this and to heal this for my highest good and for the highest good of everyone around me, including my children. All these feelings of being unworthy to be here. All these feelings of being a burden to my mother, being a burden to the world. Oh my God, I realize now how much this has ruined my life. All this belief that I ruined my mother's life. The ironic thing is that this belief that I ruined her life has now been ruining my life. It has stopped me from experiencing so many things. It has stopped me from experiencing feelings of deserving, feelings that I do deserve to have good things in life. And instead, it has kept me in a life of always striving to finally feel good enough. That if I just do one more thing, I will finally be worthy of receiving the kind of income that I want. If I could just do more and more and more and more and more, and then finally, one day, I will finally be deserving of having enough. Just enough. I'm not even really asking for millions. I'm asking just for enough. All my life I have manifested these experiences to prove to me what a burden I am to the world. It's showing up in my debt. Because every time I look at my debt, I think of how undeserving I am to be here. I think about how much that proves that I am a burden to the world and a burden to everyone around me. It's living proof that I'm a burden. I actually am manifesting evidence of how unworthy I am, of how I don't deserve to be here, of how I don't deserve to have good things like the other kids. It's the reason why, even though I can easily conceive of other people earning a lot of money as a coach, earning a lot of money as a healer, I just can't see it for me. Because those other people probably had parents who loved them and adored them. At least that's what I think in my mind. Obviously their parents loved them and wanted them. But because mine didn't, it means that I don't deserve. It means that I have to be satisfied with taking the scraps. in my relationships, in my career. I have to settle for the scraps. I have to undercharge for what I do, or I have to just take what they give me and never ask for a raise, never ask for more. Because after all, if I try to ask for more, they'll probably just get rid of me. All the pain that this experience has caused me, all the loss that it has caused me, I'm now seeing the light. This all stems from me feeling unwanted, feeling like a burden, feeling rejected by my own mother. This has really cost me big time. And it's something that I just haven't been able to shake my whole life. This feeling of not deserving, of somehow not being good enough, no matter what I do. No matter how much I learn, no matter how many certifications I get, degrees, anything, I just can't prove that I'm good enough. I'm always trying, always striving to be good enough, to prove to the world that I'm good enough. And yet, I just can't get there. I'm always striving and never, ever arriving. Never, ever arriving at just being good enough. Take a deep breath. That was huge. And I hope that you can see that. Oh, get some water if you have it. And okay, so that was pretty heavy, and I hope that you all will share with me your comments about this. Does this resonate with you? And I know that there's more work to do around this for most of you, and I know this is not something that we're going to just tap away in one EFT tapping round, okay? But I want to go ahead and do a little bit more of a positive round to kind of bring your energy back up a little bit, because whatever that you have managed to let go of in this session, we want to replace it with something more positive, and to be able to make more positive choices. So on the karate chop point, even though I never really felt wanted by my mother, I never felt welcome here, I love and accept myself. And I accept where my mother was at that time, and everything that she was going through at that time, even though part of me doesn't. Even though I felt unwanted, unloved, completely rejected. And I spent my entire lifetime recreating opportunities to once again feel unwanted and rejected. In all my relationships with men especially, I've recreated this feeling of unwanted, not good enough. I am so grateful right now for having this opportunity to heal this. Maybe I can't heal it all in one day, right here and right now. But this is a baby step. This is the beginning. And I'm grateful for it. Even though I felt unwanted, I felt rejected, I felt like I ruined my mother's life. And I had lots of good reasons for feeling that way. I have lots of evidence to prove that that was absolutely true. But I'm willing to give up my need to be right about this. I'm willing to be open to just accepting a new reality, a new way of perceiving this. And then tapping through the points. Everything my mother went through, everything that I went through, there was so much fear in my mother about her ability to raise me. And I just felt all of it. I took it all in. All this fear and anxiety. It was never mine to begin with. And I've been carrying it in my little nervous system ever since. I'm choosing to release that now. Everything my mother went through, I just downloaded it all. It was never mine. And maybe I've carried it in loyalty to my mother. I'm choosing to let it go now, for my sake, for her sake, for the good of everyone involved. My mother was terrified about being a mother. She was terrified. Worry about money, worry about how she was going to pay the bills. Exhausted from having to work 3, 4 jobs, trying to make the bills, pay the bills, put food on the table. Yes, I felt that worry. Yes, I felt that anxiety. And not only that, out of loyalty to my mother, I have actually created all of that same anxiety and stress in my own life. Stress about money, stress about how I was going to pay the bills, stress about how I was going to put food on the table. And maybe I even decided not to have children because a part of me wanted to rebel against it. I am choosing to let go of all of this anxiety because it was never mine in the first place. What if I could let go of even a tenth of this anxiety today? This anxiety, this fear, this terror of the future, this fear that I'm not going to be able to make it, this fear that I'm not going to be able to pay the bills, this fear that there isn't going to be enough to go around. All these fearful thoughts that my mother had, that the very reason why she didn't want to have another baby. It was not personal about me. My mother, unfortunately, couldn't see the gift that I was. It's so sad, but she never saw the little light that I was. She couldn't see that. All she was able to see was the fear, the anxiety. But I don't need to carry this anymore out of loyalty to my mother. And I also don't need to carry it out of a need to rebel against it. Because even whether I'm being loyal to her or rebelling against it, either way, I'm still recreating this battle in my nervous system. And I am choosing to let go of the need to fight this battle. It was more of a misunderstanding. And I'm ready to let it go. Because on a higher level, I'm sure there was a part of my mother that wanted to see my birth as a blessing. I'm sure on another level, my mother really, really wanted to see that I was a gift from God. And she would have seen it if it weren't for all the fear that she had. Fear and insecurities about her own ability to provide. All this sadness from my mother's predicament. All this sadness for everything that my mother never got to do. Everything she never got to enjoy. And maybe out of loyalty to my mother, I have been denying myself as well. I'm willing to let go of all of this. Take a deep breath and get another drink of water. Okay, I hope that after that last round, I hope that you're feeling a little bit better about it. Again, I want you to know that this is just the beginning of the work. I know there's more to be done with this, and because these are very deep feelings. And as I said, they were programmed into your little nervous system as your nervous system was actually being formed in your first chakra. You were carrying these feelings already of being unwanted, of being a burden. And so as the energy in your body comes up into your second chakra, which is where we feel the world and feel our deservingness, does it make sense that coming from a place of feeling like a burden and feeling unsafe and unwanted, that as you come up into your second chakra, of course you don't feel deserving to be here. Of course you don't feel deserving to have the good things in life. Because if you don't even feel at a very basic first chakra level, if you feel that you don't have a right to be here, you are not going to allow yourself to have the good things in life. You will only barely allow yourself to survive at a very basic survival first chakra level. So, I do have coaching programs to help women to get through these things. And currently, I do have a coaching program that's called Unleash Your Charisma, Confidence, and Your Courage. And I do help women to work through and bring their chakra energy up. We actually clear out your chakra system of these old wounds and these old vows that really keep you stuck, living at a very basic survival level. So if you feel that you need to continue doing this kind of work, I'm going to put my website beneath this video. You can also go and schedule to have a conversation with me. We can just have a conversation by phone, by Skype, by Zoom, if you will, and just to discuss if I have a program that is right for you. We'll discuss what your goals are, what you want to achieve, and if I feel that I can help you to achieve that, whether it's in a one-on-one coaching or maybe in one of my group programs. So please do contact me. I want to be able to help you. So again, my name is Dawn Priolette of dawnpriolette.com. That's my website. Go, the link will be below if you need it. And I hope this was very helpful to you. And I want you to know, though, again, don't try to stumble through all of this work by yourself. Don't make the mistake that I made. I made that mistake of thinking I could figure it all out on my own. Please get help. You are really worth it. Okay? So till the next video, ciao for now.